Live from New Delhi, you're watching DT India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to witness Bharat Shakti at Pokhran, Rajasthan shortly. Tri-service military exercise to demonstrate India's military might and indigenous capabilities. Indian President Draupadi Murmu to attend National Day celebrations of Mauritius as the chief guest, conferred with honorary doctorate at University of Mauritius. Israel urges UNSC to push Hamas to release hostages. India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval meets Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss the ongoing conflict. Amidst raging gang violence in Haiti, Prime Minister Ariel Henry steps down. US pledges additional $100 million for Haiti security mission. India's President Draupadi Murmu addressed the conferment ceremony of honorary degree of Doctor of Civil Law in Mauritius. She was conferred degree of Doctor of Civil Law. On this occasion, President of Mauritius, Prithvi Raj Singh Rupon, and Prime Minister of Mauritius, Pravind Kumar Jugannath, and other dignitaries were present. President Draupadi Murmu said India is giving priority to education and empowering the youth to become a knowledge economy.
Recognizing the transformative power of education and given that half of Indian population is below the age of 25, the Government of India has made it a priority to educate and empower youth to lead India into knowledge economy of tomorrow. India's forward-looking new national education policy will tap into India's demographic dividend to become a powerhouse of innovation.
India's President Draupadi Murmu is on a state visit to Mauritius to participate in the Mauritian National Day celebrations as a chief guest. A contingent of Indian Navy will also participate in the National Day celebrations, along with two ships of the Indian Navy's first training squadron, INS Tir and CGS Sarathi. President Murmu's state visit underscores the long-standing and enduring ties between India and Mauritius. It reaffirms the continued commitment of both countries to further strengthening bilateral relationship across all sectors and deepening close people-to-people ties. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited western state of Gujarat today. During his visit, PM Modi inaugurated the redeveloped Kochrab Ashram in Ahmedabad. It was the first ashram established by Mahatma Gandhi after coming to India from South Africa in 1915. Furthermore, he also launched the master plan for $1.2 billion Sabarmati Ashram Memorial Project. The project aims to revitalize Mahatma Gandhi's teachings and philosophy for present and future generations. Earlier in the day, Prime Minister visited Sabarmati Ashram in Ahmedabad city. It has been the endeavor of the Prime Minister to uphold and cherish the ideals which Mahatma Gandhi stood for and develop avenues which showcase his ideals and bring him closer to people. Addressing at Sabarmati Ashram in Ahmedabad, Prime Minister Modi hailed Mahatma Gandhi's contribution in building India. He said Gandhiji's vision shows a clear direction for India's bright future.
जो देश अपनी विरासत नहीं संजो पाता, वो देश अपना भविष्य भी खो देता है। बापू का ये साबरमती आश्रम देश की ही नहीं, ये मानव जात की ऐतिहासिक धरोहर है, जिस आश्रम ने इतिहास का सृजन किया हो, जिस आश्रम की देश की आजादी में इतनी बड़ी भूमिका रही हो, जिसे देखने के लिए, जानने के लिए अनुभव करने के लिए दुनिया भर से लोग यहां आते हो, उस साबरमती आश्रम को सहेज कर रखना हम सभी 140 करोड़ भारतीयों का दायित्व है। और साथियों, आज साबरमती आश्रम का जो विस्तार संभव हो रहा है, उसमें यहां रहने वाले परिवारों की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका रही है। इनके सहयोग के कारण ही आश्रम की 55 एकड़ जमीन वापस मिल पाई है। जिन जिन लोगों ने इसमें सकारात्मक भूमिका निभाई है, मैं उन परिवारों की सराहना करता हूं, उनका आभार व्यक्त करता हूं।
Earlier in the day, in a major boost to infrastructure in the western state of Gujarat, India's Prime Minister also inaugurated multiple projects in Ahmedabad on Tuesday. He laid the foundation stone and dedicated a slew of rail and petrochemicals projects. He also flagged off 10 new Vande Bharat trains. Prime Minister Modi also reviewed the progress of ongoing projects. The investments will not only improve connectivity but also boost economic growth and create new employment opportunities. Addressing the gathering after the inauguration of multiple rail projects, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said the development of rail is one of the highest priorities of the government.
रेलवे का ये कायाकल्प नए निवेश और निवेश से नए रोजगार की भी गारंटी दे रहा है। साथियों, हमारे इन प्रयासों को कुछ लोग चुनावी चश्मे से देखने की कोशिश करते हैं। हमारे लिए ये विकास कार्य सरकार बनाने के लिए नहीं, ये विकास कार्य सिर्फ और सिर्फ देश बनाने का मिशन है। पहले की पीढ़ियों ने जो कुछ भुगता, वो हमारे नौजवानों और उनके बच्चों को नहीं भुगतना पड़ेगा, और ये मोदी की गारंटी है।
PM Modi said the governments that came after independence gave priority to political selfishness, and his government has invested more for development of railways.
आजादी के बाद की सरकारों ने राजनीतिक स्वार्थ को जिस तरह प्राथमिकता दी, और उसकी बहुत बड़ी शिकार भारतीय रेल रही है। आप पिछले 2014 के पहले के 25-30 रेल बजट देख लीजिए। रेल मंत्री देश की पार्लियामेंट में क्या बोलते थे? हमारी फलानी ट्रेन का वहां स्टॉपेज दे देंगे, वहां हम डिब्बे 6 है तो 8 कर देंगे। यानी रेलवे, और मैं देख रहा था पार्लियामेंट में भी धप धप तालियां बजती थी। यानी यही सोच रही थी कि स्टॉपेज मिला कि नहीं मिला, ट्रेन वहां तक आती है, मेरे स्टेशन तक आगे बढ़ी कि नहीं बढ़ी। देखिए, 21वीं सदी में यही सोच रही होती तो देश का क्या होता। और मैंने पहला काम किया, रेल को अलग बजट से निकाल करके भारत सरकार के बजट में डाल दिया, और उसके कारण आज भारत सरकार के बजट के पैसे रेलवे के विकास के लिए लगने लगे।
And India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will shortly witness a synergized demonstration of indigenous defense capabilities of India in the form of tri-service live fire and maneuver exercise at North Indian town of Pokhran in the Indian state of Rajasthan. The exercise, Bharat Shakti, will have on display an array of indigenous weapon systems and platforms as a demonstration of the prowess of the country. In a social media post, Prime Minister had said this program will feature weapon systems and more which are vital in the quest to make India self-reliant in defense. He said Pokhran has an emotional attachment with every Indian. India has slammed China at United Nations Security Council over terror listing. Speaking at UNSC, permanent representative of India to the UN, Ruchira Kamboj, pointed out China's double speak on global terror listing, reiterating
the decisions on rejecting listing requests are not made public. This is a disguised veto, but an even more impervious one that indeed merits a discussion amongst the wider membership. For genuine, evidence-based listing proposals for globally sanctioned terrorists to be blocked without giving any due justification is uncalled for and smacks of doublespeak when it comes to the Council's commitment in tackling the challenge of terrorism.
Reiterating the need for reforms at the UN Security Council, Indian envoy to the UN pressed the case for Council reforms that expands both permanent and elected membership.
What we therefore need is a Security Council that better reflects contemporary realities, the geographical and developmental diversity of the multipolar world of today, including the voices of the developing countries and unrepresented regions like Africa, Latin America, and the vast majority of Asia and the Pacific. For this, an expansion of the Council in both categories of membership is absolutely essential.
India's Ministry of External Affairs on Tuesday rejected the comments by China, objecting to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Arunachal Pradesh on March 9th. Ministry of External Affairs, MEA, also said the country does not stand to reason as Arunachal Pradesh is and will always be an integral and inalienable part of India. The statement clearly mentions that Indian leaders visit Arunachal Pradesh from time to time as they visit other states of the country. External Affairs Ministry emphasized that Chinese side has been made aware of India's consistent position on its territories on several occasions. China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin on Monday opposed Prime Minister Modi's visit to India's Arunachal Pradesh. India's National Security Advisor NSA Ajit Doval called on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at Israeli Prime Minister's office in Jerusalem. Israeli PM updated him on recent developments in the fighting in Gaza Strip. The two sides also discussed effort to release hostages and the issue of humanitarian assistance. Israeli Director of National Security Council, the Israeli Prime Minister's Foreign Policy Advisor, and the Indian Ambassador to Israel also participated in the meeting. This was the first high-level visit from India to Israel since the conflict erupted on October 7th last year. An aid ship carrying almost 200 tons of food to Gaza left Cyprus early on Tuesday in a pilot project to open a new sea route for aid. The charity ship Open Arms was sailing out the Larnaca port in Cyprus, towing a barge containing around 200 tons of flour, rice and protein. The mission, mostly funded by United Arab Emirates, is being organized by the US-based charity, while Spanish charity Proactiva Open Arms is supplying the ship. Meanwhile, Israel has demanded United Nations Security Council to put as much pressure as possible on Hamas to release people it took as hostages. Foreign Minister of Israel, Katz, on a Monday addressed the 15-member council, which met to discuss findings of a UN report on sexual violence in October 7th attack. He called for sanctions to be imposed on Hamas, accusing the group of committing crimes worse than the terror organizations who had been targeted by the council.
I'm demanding from the Security Council of the United Nations to put as much pressure as possible on the Hamas organization to release immediately and unconditionally all kidnapped hostages.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has urged for ceasefires in Gaza and Sudan during Ramadan, emphasizing the importance of peace, reconciliation and solidarity during this holy month. He called for immediate cessation of hostilities to facilitate delivery of humanitarian aid and the release of Israeli hostages. by Hamas.
In Gaza, in Sudan and beyond, it's time for peace. I call on political, religious and community leaders everywhere to do everything in their power to make this holy period a time for empathy, action and peace.
Time for a short break. Still to come on DT India News Hour. Federal Aviation Administration issues audit report of 737 MAX jet. Donald Trump seeks delay in New York hush money trial.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DT India News Hour. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. As Russia-Ukraine conflict continues, Russian air defense system shot down 25 Ukrainian drones in an overnight attack on Tuesday. The officials from Russia say the drones targeted Moscow and other regions that struck fuel facilities in western cities of Oriol and Nizhny Novgorod region, causing fire, though no casualties have been reported. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky claimed on Monday that situation along the borderlines have improved in the last 3 months. In an interview with France's BFM television, Zelensky says that Moscow's troops are no longer advancing after their capture last month of the eastern city of Avdiivka. Despite shortfall of weaponry, Zelensky says their strategic position is getting better, but suggested the situation could change again if new supplies are not provided soon. Haiti's unelected Prime Minister Ariel Henry has resigned from his post on Monday after holding the office since 2021 assassination of its last president. Henry will step down once his substitute will be appointed. Henry's resignation comes after nearby Jamaica hosted leaders from Caribbean community CARICOM on Monday and discussed ways to support Haiti and promote political dialogue. Meanwhile, more foreign diplomats were evacuated from violence-hit country, including European Union staff and all non-essential US personnel. Haiti entered a state of emergency on March 3rd after fighting escalated, while former Prime Minister Henry was in Nairobi seeking a deal for long-delayed UN-backed mission. Earlier, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken announced an additional help of $100 million to United Nations-backed Haiti security mission on Monday. Blinken was in Jamaica, attending the high-level meeting on Haiti, convened by the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community. He further said the US will also provide some $33 million more for humanitarian aid.
Given this increasingly urgent need, I'm announcing today that the United States Department of Defense is doubling its approved support for the mission from $100 million to $200 million. And that brings the total U.S. support to $300 million for this effort. I'm also announcing additional humanitarian assistance for the people of Haiti, $33 million to further support their health and food security.
And US President Joe Biden is due to meet members of the 1.3 million strong International Brotherhood of Teamsters Union in a bid to earn their endorsement for 2024 presidential elections. Meanwhile, primary voting continues in several states on Tuesday, with both Biden and Trump on the brink of having enough delegates to clinch their respective parties' presidential nominations. Kate Fisher gets us more from Washington, D.C.
Mr. Biden's due to attend a round table at the International Brotherhood of Teamsters headquarters in Washington on Tuesday. It's one of the largest unions in the country that remains undecided on which candidate it will support. Its members have also recently met with Biden's Republican rival, Donald Trump.